Hachette Audio presents The Land of Steady Habits, written by Ted Thompson, read by Joe Barrett. For Kip and Delia. Part 1. Chapter 1. One of the great advantages of Anders's divorce, besides of course the end of the squabbling and the sudden guiltless thrill of freedom, was that he no longer had to attend the Ashbys' holiday party. Their party, like all of the parties he'd attended in his marriage, was his wife's domain, and he was relieved to no longer have to show up, only to be a disappointment to her friends. In fact, the Ashbys' holiday party had become a sort of emblem of obligation to Anders, a reminder, at the end of his marriage, of the kind of man he'd become when at last year's party, after 3 quick whiskeys and a squabble with Helene about their grown children, he'd turned and announced to the room that they hadn't had sex in 5 months. And even though he was over 60, it wasn't because of his penis either. The amazing thing, though, was that after all that, after it was clearly his decision to end the marriage, after he'd left what her friends saw as a perfect woman for a life in a condominium, retired pretty much alone, after he'd openly scorned them and was sure she'd revealed all of his dirtiest secrets to them over brunch, a card arrived from the Ashbys, as if with the season, inviting him once again to their holiday party. They held it every year in the week after Thanksgiving to get a jump on the season, and he'd always thought to claim it as their own. It was the only invitation he'd received, so he brought it inside, set it on his small breakfast table, and ate dinner across from it, staring at the familiar handwriting, the Santa Claus stamp, trying to decide if it was a peace offering or if they'd simply forgotten to take him off their list. Divorce, he'd learned early on, was not so much from your spouse, but from all of the things you'd forged as a couple: the home, the parental authority, the good credit, the friends. He pictured Helene in her elegant party clothes holding forth in the Ashbys' kitchen, a brave single woman in a chenille scarf who, after a year of injustice, maintained the dignified poise of a survivor. She would be an honored guest there, a woman who'd spent her career helping adults learn to read and was now forced to face the season alone. The invitation was stiff and glossy, a photo of the Ashbys in front of their tree. "It's that time of year," was all it said, as though if you were receiving this you had been for 20 years, which Anders realized was about right, 20 years of enduring this soiree. And still, after he'd thumbed his
Sample complete. Ready to continue?